Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino that Pinguino is not here right now. He's on vacation, so you're stuck with me, the mistress of games, M. Palladino. I am here hosting the second it's the Deep Listens with all the Off the Deep End people variety show. Joining me this week to talk about a wheel of random shit, Jeff Rude.
Hi, I'm here, and I wasn't late. Don't trust these folks.
Definitely not.
No, 0% late.
Also joining us, ZP.
I have to be on my best behavior, otherwise M will take my constitutional rights away.
It's true.
The internet has no constitution.
Yes, the government, M.
And also joining us, Braden, ArbitraryWater.
Hi, hello. I was also not late.
No one was.
What a variety.
You can keep up with us on the Deep Listens Discord, patreon.com/Deep Listens.
We've been doing this now for 2 years. What are the circumstances that require a cavalcade of tomfoolery, M, for us to do this?
Gino is gone.
Oh no! So does that mean is this an invasion angle, Jeff? Is this an invasion angle?
Are you invading the Deep Listens?
Yeah,
podcast?
I take off my suit jacket, and I have an Aces and Eights vest on under it.
All right, as long as we book Diamond Dallas Page not to be a butt monkey to The Undertaker, I'm all good.
No, we're doing Aces and Eights, okay? Like, DDP comes out in a mask, and he unmasks, and he's in the Aces and Eights, and he tags with Carl Anderson. And
I remember when faced stabber Big Bricksman, he came up on the rumbling.
Face stabber Bricksman is a really good wrestler. Like, I'm gonna go open Fire Pro right now and make this character.
Hello, I am Face Stabber Bricksman.
It's just I'm just gonna clone
Y'all
Great Nita's
gonna get
moveset.
Stabbed.
Yeah,
like Drugs Bunny
that's
on
his catchphrase.
He's a
And
frontier
all of his
martial
fans,
arts
they
guy.
hold up like little fake knives made of cardboard in the stands, and they're like, "Oh, stab me, Brick."
That's Ric Flair used to just tape razors to his fingers, and then in matches.
Ric Flair is a creation of cocaine and sadness.
Yeah,
he's also
bad person.
filling his last match.
Yeah, his last
after he's
trying to out Terry
twice.
Funk. It's Ric Flair.
Old is Richard Flair, Esquire. He's in his 60s, right?
He's still alive?
Yeah, Ric Flair is still alive, and he's about to have his final match, in quotations, final match, because, Ric Flair's last match at WrestleMania against Shawn Michaels should have been his last match, because that was literally one of the best things he did during his modern, I put this in quotation, modern WWE run.
Yeah, his post-93 career. I'd say everything after that Vader match in 93 is kind of just gravy in a way. But yeah, it was like they took him seriously. They really... They did... I don't know how else to put this. They did it nice. Like, they did a really nice thing for this man, who has frankly not been very kind in his career to a lot of people. And that he has just kind of shat on that for 15 years now. Like, literally 15 years.
Oh boy, as a
rough.
TNA defender, boy howdy.
Yeah. Anyway.
Boy howdy.
Since we're talking about sorry, we've just hijacked the show now. Here's the over-under. Let's say the over-under on bumps that Ric Flair takes in this match is like 2.5. Like actual
Will he
bumps.
bleed?
Man. He shouldn't. Let's go with that. He shouldn't.
But he's going to bleed.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, his
You're
skin...
talking about sumo time, gentlemen.
Okay, yeah.
That's fine. This could be, like, I don't know.
I'm going to bet over 2.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like, it's got Andre Idolo and Jeff Jarrett, and who's the other? It's a tag match that he's in. Basically, there's 3 people who can still work. Basically, they're in this match, and then Ric Flair, and they're with them. So
Andrade, El Oldo, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal.
Okay. Ha, yeah.
I mean,
you kind of got to have him.
You got to have Jay Lethal in a retirement match with Ric Flair, but we won't go into the reasons. Oh, but man, if they bring back Black Machismo, please, 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 please. Okay, M, take control of this show. Otherwise, we are going to be terrible people.
You can, the usual thing Gino says. You can support the show on deeplistens.patreon.com.
.lol.
Deep.lol. The whole thing.
Onlyflans.com /
Onlyflans.
This is where I cook nothing but flan and do it in a sultry ASMR video voice.
Hola,
usually I listen to an episode and then I type out what Gino usually says, but I forgot to do that this time. So
who's judging? You got the ability to do it in post.
That's true. You know the whole thing. I'm not going to say the whole thing. Maybe I'll do it in post. It'll be right here.
He's just pounding something with his fist right now.
Anyway, on to the show. I'm not going to do the Discord report because
this is basically a Discord report.
Yeah, this is the Discord report in full episode form. I did streamline the Discord. I hope everyone likes it.
Honestly, it's good.
Thank you. If you are not on the Discord, you can do so by joining our Patreon. Other than that, on to the thing. For the variety show, last time I did a wheel. This time I wasn't sure that I was going to have enough stuff to make a wheel, and then all of a sudden I have 17 things on the wheel.
Yay!
So we're going to have at least some stuff to talk about. There is a variety of things, which I'm not going to read because it's more fun if I just spin the wheel. And then at the end of the show, I will let you know what you missed out on. So our first topic for the variety show, spin to win.
Boop, booply doodly doodly doo.
Boop, boop, boop. Tell me about your stream, gentlemen.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay.
It's been pretty clear. Been drinking a lot of water.
Thank you. As some of you know, we do Twitch streaming. So I haven't been able to do streaming lately because my internet has been so bad. But ZP and Braden, you've been doing some stuff. What have you found?
Chris, you go first.
All right, so I've been continuing with my adventure game streaming plans. I have played all of The Longest Journey, and The Longest Journey is pretty good. It's a pretty good game, other than the fact that it really likes to talk to you instead of, being a video game. But it's of an era, it's of that post-Myst, Euro-centric, Euro-style adventure game for the PC where, really highly ambitious storytelling and narrative structure, and it's a good game, and I have to say nothing but nice things about it because Jeff's here, and Jeff will hound me about it being the greatest game to come from Norway.
Yeah, probably still the case. I think Owlboy is from Norway too, but
the problem with the Longest Journey franchise is that specific developer and designer refuses to let defer all. So the director and the creator of The Longest Journey is Ragnar Thornquist, which is a real name of a person.
Yeah.
But he has basically been responsible for the entire franchise, including the first game, The Longest Journey, then Dreamfall, The Longest Journey, the second game, and then Dreamfall Chapters. I have traditionally been a defender of Dreamfall Chapters, which I have not yet streamed, and I think that not Dreamfall Chapters, Dreamfall. And then Dreamfall Chapters, I think, is just a horrible disappointment. And to continue with my homework, I've been continually streaming Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13. Jeff, that game's kind of good.
Yeah.
Lightning Returns is kind of good.
I know.
It's fun.
Is it goofy? Is it good compared to other Final Fantasy games, or is it just a good game?
I think that ultimately where we're going to have to do it, like, Gino likes to I always start from the top or the bottom and go from. It really is going to come down to whether or not we think this is better than 10-2.
Oh wow, that's pretty high on the list, isn't it?
I mean, that's right next to 13-2 as well. Oddly enough, on the list. Right.
I think it just comes down to
it's not that high.
Which spin-off goofiness video game do you prefer more? There's a lot of irreverent, heart-earned, like forced moments of sentimentality in Lightning Returns that don't always work, and when they don't work, it's actually funnier. The problem is I think that I enjoy playing 10-2 more. Because the mission structure of 13 Lightning Returns is all over the place. It's a mess. And just the weird, balancing issues and, hey, I decided it's time to kill you, or just, random bullshit that pops off in the screen that just murders you. You really have nothing you can do to stop it. And, it's been fun. Braden.
Hi, hello. Friends. Why do we climb? Why do we build? To go up. And so too can I have been going up the tower of dubious horror games.
I see what we're doing.
Yes. Because randomization is out, democracy is in, and more importantly, being able to choose whatever the fuck I want to play for streams within a very vague set of criteria. I have played a lot of very bad Resident Evil clones. Also,
so what's this about you playing the worst game you've ever played your entire life?
I wouldn't go that far, but I believe I mentioned on a previous podcast that Daymare 1998 it's real rough. It is an indie attempt to make a classic style Resident Evil game. And, by golly, to quote a great man, games are hard to make. And by golly, you can tell that games are hard to make. These 10 people from Italy said, let's make a Resident Evil 2 remake. And then Capcom said, no, you won't. We're doing that. And then they said, well, we'll just file the serial numbers off. Mm-hmm. And thus Daymare 1998 was born.
This is not a joke. That's actually what happened.
Some good series have come out of that.
Yes.
Like StarCraft.
Let me tell you about Daymare 1994 Sandcastle coming this year.
It's coming this year?
It's a prequel to Daymare 1998.
Wow.
Okay.
Will we understand the origin of the character Sandman?
Will we?
I don't know. But
okay.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of bad horror games. I played an X-Files game. David Duchovny cannot give a shit.
Did they actually get him to do the...
Yeah, they got They got all of them. They got Duchovny, they got Anderson, they got
Wild.
Mitch Pileggi, and they got the cigarette smoking man.
Yeah, the weird thing about
the lone gunmans, which, as someone who has not seen very much X-Files, I see those lone gunman characters and I go, this is the most 90s approximation of what a nerd is. I hate this.
The weird thing about those X-Files games is that they really did this, and the FNV adventure game, they really did get all of the actors to be there and be present and to be actively a part of it.
I mean, they have a contract. They have to be there.
And it was one of, I think we all kind of remembered, it was the biggest show on television for a solid 2-3 year crease.
Yeah.
And I never watched it because I was terrified of the opening sequence there.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Although, speaking of other very popular shows on television from a time gone by, I also finished 24 the game.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will say this.
Amazing.
Kiefer Sutherland, all the actors there are giving their all. The game is dog shit.
Okay,
But
so
by golly,
ranking of Keith Sutherland performances in video games between 24, Phantom Pain, and Ground Zeroes.
oh right, he was also in Call of Duty: World at War.
Oh right, yeah, he does a lot of the
He's
VO.
the American.
Yeah, he's just like Johnny American.
He's the guy who is not Gary Oldman.
Yeah, he's just like, we had to fight the Japanese on this specific beach.
We gotta get up.
Yeah.
See, no video game has captured the essence of Kiefer Sutherland drunkenly tackling a Christmas tree. So I feel like they are all inauthentic to the actor.
Fair. Very fair. Tough, but fair. Yeah, that...
You're a pirate, man.
Shout-outs to Mini-Me, the YouTuber, M-I-N-I-M. There's a double letter in there somewhere. I think the N or the second M is doubled. Anyway, he did a video about 24 the game that is very good as a companion piece to Braden's much better streams. For sure.
Oh,
definitely better.
Yeah. He was posting the videos while he was going through the game, and I did not watch them, but it did seem to have a lot of context about what 24 came out of.
Oh, that was the
John Boy's essay on 24 is
another really good web thing.
Like one of my favorite video essays on a thing that is less than 30 minutes long.
It is simultaneously a very good thing about the show and a very good thing about sociology in America in the early 21st century. Just masterful.
John Boyce does good work. I like his... I don't even like sports, but I like his sports documentaries.
Yeah.
Just because they're really weird.
He makes me wish I'd learned Prezi when I first learned about it, because I get the sense what they're using to make those is very similar to what Prezi used to be. Anyway. Any
more stream?
No, that's about it.
Okay. I'm spinning the wheel again.
While this wheel spins, I have one for ZP.
What?
Do you think a long extinguished official webcomic about Final Fantasy XI counts as Final Fantasy media?
I think I know what you're talking about. So a discontinued webcomic.
It seems to have been called Adventure Log, and it was just posted on what looks to have been the Play Online or the main FF11 homepage.
Oh, boy.
I don't know how much of this there is.
Adventure Log Final Fantasy for 11 comic.
Well, the copyrights on this comic say 2002 through 2008, so there's at least 6 years of this webcomic.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure. That's enough content if we can get it, right?
Adventure Log is a short webcomic parody of the MMORPG Final Fantasy XI.
Oh, no.
This is on the VG Cats.
Oh, no.
Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be fun.
That's a topic of its own, just talking about, hey, remember webcomics and how, the people who wrote the successful and good ones went on to do actual things in an industry?
Yep.
And then there's Penny Arcade, who are still making
Penny
bad
Arcade.
Comics.
Yeah.
And VG Cats, who I'm under the understanding that the VG Cats guy at this point makes most of his income through commissions.
Oh, probably
of a nature.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mercenary work, if you will.
I mean,
he's
God
cranking
bless him,
them
but
out.
Also,
he's cranking to help you cranking.
Loss, right?
Yeah.
That's the ultimate webcomic moment, right?
Control-Alt-Delete, yes.
Loss.jpg.
Yep. .jpg is the most important work of art in the 2000s. I will brook no argument.
Loss is the only webcomic I've had to grab my spouse and I have to show you what this is, because once you see this the first time, it explains 5% of the stuff you see online, and you're like, what are they talking about? And it's like, oh, it's just those shapes arranged this way. Okay, yeah.
The best thing to come from loss.jpg is all of the minimalist interpretations of it.
It's that, oh god. Anyway, yeah, just a modern work of art. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. All right, next topic.
What's the result?
Thing you love, but the podcast would ruin. This is suggested by ZP. Thing you love but will never recommend for podcast discussion. Any game that is dubious enough that you do not want to recommend it to the podcast, but you like it. I feel like, Jeff, you have one lined up. You seem like you have one in the...
Talk about Shenmue.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shenmue is not for everyone, and it's a powerful flavor.
I think we will play Shenmue at some point.
Yeah, that game's got, again, I said this in that first recording for Lightning Returns, but there's a surprising amount of Shenmue detail in that game. It's just everything that both of those games do, Shenmue tends to do them better than Lightning Returns. And I'm not joking, and I'm not trying to be cute. But it's a hard sell. It's weird it's kind of a screwed up game. It's got some problems. Okay? Things that I would try... I don't think me trying to tell people to play Space Harrier would play very well on this podcast. Or, like, trying to explain why I think Rez is really, really good.
Jeff, I've played Space Harrier in Yakuza 0 and every single Hideki Kamiya game.
Like, I don't need... like, Yakuza 0 as a shell for Space Harrier, Yakuza 0 is lucky it's got Space Harrier in it, because it makes it a better game. And Yakuza 0 is a pretty good game. Like, I don't know. Space Harrier is very good. But I don't know. It's like mostly like kind of smaller arcade stuff, I guess, if I'm not going to go with Shenmue. But I guess Shenmue's the obvious choice.
Alright.
Jeff, you do realize Sega hasn't made a good video game in 20 years, right?
They own Atlas.
Yeah, that's just it. They bought enough studios that they don't really have to anymore.
No. Yeah, they bought studios that make good games.
I bought a copy of Beach Spikers, or Beach Strike, the volleyball game they made for the GameCube for $14 this week. It is a really, really good AM2 made volleyball game. And I think it gets lost in the, like, you know, what's the Dead or Alive beach volleyball thing or whatever. Like, it has the makings of a pervert game, but it's not really going for that. It's going for, like, Virtua Tennis, but volleyball. So I don't know. It would be me just, like, sitting and screaming about how good AM2 was for so long, basically. And everyone just being like, okay, Grandpa. And I'd be like, you guys remember Ferrari F-35 Testarossa for the Dreamcast? You'll be like, okay, buddy, get your Geritol. F-35 is not great. It's a little too stuck up its own ass. Outrun 2, great game though. God damn, I'm done. You guys made me do this, okay? You're like, Jeff, go first.
Welcome to the fantasy zone.
You did have some. But were we wrong?
Every single Sega arcade game from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Hey, Game Maker, what's the game you talk about that would ruin the podcast? Would ruin? There you go.
Final Fantasy 14.
I mean, yeah, Final Fantasy 14 is going to come up eventually, and it's
your skin is going to come off your body when you hear Gino talk about it.
It's very dear to my heart, and there's a very particular way that I want the podcast to do it, where they do all the expansions as their own thing, because they're very much their own thing.
I think that is insane.
I know no one is going to have the patience to do it. I know they're going to be like, I didn't like the first 50 levels, so I'm not going to play the rest of it. I'm like, no, but all the good stuff happens in the 50 to 60, and then...
Have they built a ladder over that? Like,
yeah,
you can just buy your way around the, let's call it the bad part of the game, I guess.
Yeah, there's like a story skip you can do, and there's a way that you can like boost your levels so you're doing current content, which I'm like, but you need the context of the first part to understand all the shit that's
my problem, and this is, Final Fantasy XIV has a lot of lore, and I respect that, but there's so goddamn much of it, and It just relies so heavily on shot, reverse shot, long 10-minute talks between characters in game. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, because I respect the game really taking the time to have these characters have a stage. And, you know, the amount of storytelling in 14 is unparalleled, other than maybe like peak WoW back in the day. But it's a lot.
It's made to keep you entertained for a long period of time in between like updates. So I understand that like railroading it the way that we do, just housing it in a month or so, probably not the best way to experience it. Which is why I'm fearful whenever we get to doing it. Because it's so good, and also you're not going to do any of the side content, because why would you when you have to get through all the story? And some of the side content is some of the best stuff, so that would be my pick.
I hear a cat.
You do hear a cat.
For me, and I've been kind of talking about it with Braden. It's a lot of Japanese visual novels that I think I'm not even like saying I'm going to make you guys play a porno like that time I made Gino play Nekopara. Like, I would love to do a podcast for Umineko and Seino Uda. I would like for people to go back in time. In the best case scenario, I'd like to go back in time and force you guys to play like Clannad or
Higurashi.
Higurashi, definitely, but like Planetarian, like these seminal
we gotta do
works,
Higurashi sometime.
like these seminal works of the visual novel, Japanese visual novel genre that went on to inform people who are active members of the anime and video game community, that there was as Jeff would put it, a weeb energy to the Japanese visual novel community, especially when most of them were heavily reliant on fan translation. But a lot of them have started to come out, and they're pretty well done. And
Manga Gamer will translate anything, my dude.
And they will happily make sure that, you know, they
get
are
the
in their
patches.
original erotic form.
Yeah. Where does Steins Gate stack up in this pantheon?
Steins Gate stacks up very high.
Fantastic.
Because
Steins Gate top 5 for me.
They gave away that first Steins Gate game as part of PlayStation Plus like 100 years ago, but I think it was only the PlayStation 3 version. So,
which is still a good version.
Yeah. And I realize I'm being naive. Like, there's, let's say, a lot of ways to probably go get Steins Gate right now, but like, I already paid for it. So I'm like, if I have to wire up this PS3
You could also just watch the anime.
Sure.
Yeah, the anime is also very, very good.
I have this PS3 plugged in for Metal Gear Solid 3 and Legend of Dragoon reasons already, so I guess I do take it out. But
I can't not mention the fact that I would like to play more adventure games with you guys. PC adventure games. I would like to play. I would like
Quest for Glory 2, baby.
No, I would like to show you guys more Myst in particular. I would like you guys to play the last game of Myst, but I know none of you would.
Gonna play Uru?
No, we would play 4.
I owe it to myself to actually play through all of that first Myst game at some point, just as a video gamesman. Did my time with Riven though, and I ain't going back. So
I think that the Myst franchise ends incredibly well with 5.
How do you feel about that? Came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
Abduction is great.
Yeah.
We should definitely play Abduction. It's not an RPG though, but someone should play Abduction.
This actually dovetails into our next topic because I spun the wheel early.
Wait, Braden has to share the game.
Yes. So,
I mean, here's the thing: is I bet I could get you jackasses to play everything I would want.
I mean, you are the tastemaker.
Nothing is too precious.
Our, off the deep end chart. If you look,
in terms of stuff that is like maybe too hot for podcast, none of us are going to ever play the Trails and the Trails games for the podcast because you guys are wieners and scared of commitment. What, you don't want to commit to 3 40-hour games? Like a baby? and then 2 more 60-hour games, and then 4 more 60-hour games.
That is what my wife keeps telling me, is I'm afraid of commitment.
Apparently there are a lot of these games, and I've literally never seen any of these games.
Falcom fans are
Falcom
zealous.
fans be feasting, and have been for decades.
And also, yes.
Except for the
Same.
90s, specifically.
But at some point we'll play like fucking East 5 or something.
Look forward to an East 5 episode on the HG101 Patreon coming up.
But otherwise, like, there is not... The things I would not actually recommend we play are the shit I have played for my streams and think is just too rancid for talking about. We ain't playing the 2012 Game of Thrones RPG made by Cyanide.
Even that Telltale Game of Thrones game was not super great, personally.
Most Telltale games aren't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
The Batman ones are decent. Walking Dead Season 1.
Have I told the tale I know of a guy who worked at Telltale on most of those games?
Tell your telltale tale.
I know
see what you
this
did there.
individual. I don't know this individual, but he is a brother of someone I'm pretty close with.
No names.
Yeah, so it's a bit names, but he said like those tools did not get updated very much, so like there would be scenes in some of those games where like the example he'd give was like a basketball would be bouncing, like someone would just be dribbling it and then would just like let it bounce and like roll down the court. That couldn't be, like, the tools couldn't handle that, so they had to go in and hand animate that basketball in like a scene every single time, as opposed to just like apply physics to ball. So like every single object that is like moving or being influenced by what looks like just like, you know, random physics or whatever is
It's not a
hand
physics
rigged.
engine. Mm-hmm.
This is why we should play Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people.
I think that game's actually really good.
That's a good get.
Strong Bad is something I have zero. I know what it is, but was not something I encountered in its time.
Jeff, you fucking grandpa.
Again, I know what it is, but it wasn't content I was engaging with on the internet.
You were too busy being on Newgrounds.
No, it wasn't.
Looking at funny Sonic parodies.
Jeff's internet at that time was a place where I could go download SNES ROMs in between going and like playing in bands, basically.
And
Okay.
pornography.
Okay, Mr. Normal. Go outside, hang out with your friends.
Look, I was a rock star, all right, buddy. I was going somewhere.
Like, Homestar Runner is one of those things that is so important to me as a person in terms of, like, informing my sense of humor.
That does make a lot of sense. I see it.
Anyways, spin the
Anyway.
wheel!
I already spun it. The most batshit sequel game for Deep Listens to start a series on.
Ooh.
Because if you are a fan of Deep Listens, you know we have a tendency not to start with the first game in a series, a lot of times missing some important context to the game. For example, I want to play Danganronpa 2 at some point,
Hell yeah.
which is going to be amazing because...
Danganronpa 2 is very much a commentary on Danganronpa 1.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay, so
Danganronpa
hear me out.
V3
What
is
if-
a commentary on both of those games.
What if your
Yep.
first impressions of Devil May Cry were Devil May Cry 2? Now,
Oh my God.
ask me anything, commentaries, I'm taking questions right now.
I played Devil May Cry 2 for the charity last year, and I still
you
fucking hate that game with a burning passion.
Yeah, it's like
That good.
all
huh?
the verbs are just use gun on thing, basically. If it was a Scum game, it would just have like 3 commands.
And sword is never the answer.
Yeah.
No.
It's what a thing. I do think you guys playing Metal Gear Solid 3 is a pretty good choice already. Like, I think that game kind of stands up on its own, but there's some things that happen and little flourishes that you're like, shit, that reminds me of blank.
I don't
Yeah,
understand.
but yeah, Gino, for a variety of reasons, I think he's going to not love that game, but I think he's going to be surprised. I think he's going to walk away from that game pleasantly surprised, right? Like, I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 3, pretty good game, turns out.
Yeah.
Like, it's certainly another one of those. You know, like, even, like, you know, you look at the written by credit on there, like, Kojima had a posse. Like, it wasn't just him putting that together. MGS3 is like kind of a good choice, but you're literally doing it. Shenmue 2 would be funny for reasons that are pretty similar, I guess.
Because it's bad.
No, but you can hold that opinion. I still like you.
You guys have covered Silent Hill, correct?
We covered
did
Silent Hill 2.
Yeah. So have you guys covered Resident Evil?
You did Silent Hill 4 too.
Have you
we
guys
done
has
Resident
Deep
Evil?
Listens ever played a Resident Evil game?
Hold on. Let me check. I'm gonna go into the records here.
What if you started with Code Veronica?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. No, we
What
have
if
to
you
start with
started
Resident Evil
with
Zero,
Code
guys. It's the first one chronologically.
There are no Resident
it-
Evils in the Deep Listens.
Oh yeah, you should play Code Veronica first.
shouldn't.
Tank controls, weird incest angle, lady that turns
Backtracking.
into a horrible monster,
Is this the one
relationship
with
story
the-
arc.
Is this the one with the, like, it's like a very white enemy that is like the main antagonist?
Yes.
Who has
think
some
so.
trans vibes?
Oh, yeah.
That enemy.
Oh, you don't even know, If you're going in
There's
it
a
looking for
lot.
trans representation, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is this the one?
That's Dead Aim is the one.
Is that what I'm thinking of? Okay.
Yeah, that's the questionable.
It's debatable if he's trans or he's just cross-dressing as his sister, if I seem to recall
But
correctly.
yeah.
Is he white? Like,
There's also
is
a
he
little
just
bit of
like quoting Parks and Rec the whole time, or like how white are we talking?
No. No. I know that a lot of bad shit has been directed towards the Ubisoft style of open world game, but I really think that Watch Dogs 2 is maybe one of the better one of those, and I think that it has a story that's kind of interesting and underrated. And I know that you've been doing this year of torture. What if you
Yeah.
did Dark Souls 2?
Ha!
Ooh boy.
That's the one that Gino already played.
Damn it.
I think
fuck.
he did. Yeah, I think that's why I
No,
didn't
I think
pick it.
Damn
I
it.
think you gotta play Dark Souls 3.
Dark
Yeah,
Souls
that's not-
3 is
Play
pretty
Sekiro.
good. Yeah, Gina would hate that. Gina would absolutely not.
That might be the one he likes.
You think so?
Maybe pick Drakengard 2 or
Oh god.
Drakengard 3.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Any of the near games.
Honestly, either Drakengard 2 or 3 for very different reasons. The only thing I'll say is Drakengard 3 is our boy, so if you choose it,
Yeah.
welcome.
We're coming on the podcast. I will say
Okay.
that much. If you pick Drakengard 2, you're just subjecting your co-host to a misery train.
You're on your own there.
I see.
And
You
this
don't
is
even
someone
wanna
who
come for that.
I like the Drakengard franchise. I've beaten 1, and I think that beating 1's E route is kind of one of my greatest achievements in video games ever, because god damn the final boss in that game. But Drakengard 2 is a mess.
Yeah.
It's not even canonical. Like it's the only Drakengard game that doesn't lead to Nero.
I believe Yoko Taro had nothing to do with it.
Hands Off was not his project.
Huh.
Kind of like Metal
It's-
Gear 2 Snake's Revenge, right?
Yep. Which
Oh,
is a
man.
good game, by the way. It's not great, but it's good. It's like solidly in like C+, B- territory.
But it's still canonical to.
It exists in an
Or-
alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's Metal Gear, then there's Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which was an MSX game, and then around that time there was a NES specific sequel developed for basically the American market and solely there. I think maybe came out in Europe as well. That has, like I said, it's totally different timeline. It's got side-scrolling sequences in it that are not great. It's not a great game.
It's really the story of Metal Gear 2 that's just crazy. I mean, the back of the box, I know it's already been read on Giant Bomb history, but the back of the box description of the story is
A time capsule of the 1980s.
It's like Hyarola Kakamami.
Yeah, no. I found it. After his ironclad plan to rule the world rusted away, crazed Colonel Vermon Katafi went psycho. Unfortunately, your two best friends took the brunt of his frenzy and lost their fight to live. As nutty as ever, Katafi has sought asylum from the world's premier bad guy, Hyarola Kakamami. grateful to this Rolla Radical, the Colonel has donated the biggest, baddest, ultra-chic nuclear attack tank to his fellow madman's world-dominating cause. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but that's...
What the...
Yeah.
What are these... You can't put words together
It's like Ayatollah Khomeini.
And Muammar Gaddafi. It's crazy.
Muammar Gaddafi, get it?
It's spelled
President Reagan says, fuck you.
VERMONCAPITAFFY.
What the fuck?
It's a heck of a thing.
I seem to recall like the weird vehicle sequences were better than the first game.
Yeah, that's the thing. That first Metal Gear on the NES was okay to, I think, people of like Jeff Gerstmann's age, just by virtue of they didn't have like the genuine article in front of them, which if you play that NES version of Metal Gear and then you open up that MSX version, which is in subsistence, MGS3, it's not even a competition. Mm-hmm. It just blows it away. They're still pretty dated, both of them. To be like,
anyways.
Yeah, anyway. Bad sequel to jump into would be Space Harrier 2.
I mean, having seen Space Harrier 2, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I'm only half joking.
Have I ever told you, Jeff? I actually had the pleasure of being in the full cockpit Space Harrier arcade unit where it actually like rotated you and moved you around.
You're like an R360 version of Space Harrier.
Yeah, man, that shit was wild. Yeah. You were like in a cockpit and you were like 3D movement. Oh, it was good.
I've got to play a little bit of Afterburner Climax in a big cockpit machine when I was in England a couple of years ago, and it was a highlight of the trip. It was like the third thing I did, too. We stayed in Hastings for a couple days, which is like a coastal town, and the thing about coastal towns
Hastings on Thames.
Not on Thames. It's literally like, if you look across
Hastings
the water.
on Channel.
Basically on the channel. You can look south on a clear day, you can see France. It's where the frickin' William the Bastard landed. All this historical shit. And it's kind of a dump, which is true of a lot of seaside towns in England. It's just like where people go to get drunk and give their kids $20 and go run around while they get drunk. But there's a lot of arcades in those towns, or tend to be. So I was like, I just want to go get kind of drunk and play in like a shitty rundown arcade in a seaside town. And we got there and it was like the third thing I did. It was perfect. It was like a pig and slop. And then they had this Afterburner Climax cabinet, and I was like, Jesus, I'm fucking moving here. Anyway, so yeah, those big arcade attraction cabinets, anytime you see one in the wild, just go give it a dollar.
Get in it and have a good time. Those super expensive.
Yeah, they won't be around forever, so you should enjoy them now.
It reminds me of those people who like make a whole setup for playing like flight games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw someone who did that with a truck simulator.
Yeah. POTOS.
It's wild. People got a lot of free time and money.
Euro Truck Simulator 2 would be a good one because you don't have any of the context from the first Euro Truck sim.
Context?
Here's my actual answer is, if y'all ever play any of the Prince of Persia games, you should start with Warrior Within.
I'm alive for you.
How do you feel about Godsmack?
When I hear that, I think Godsmack,
Okay, I'm adding it to the list.
It is... Here's the thing. I'm to understand it still plays, like, totally well.
That's what the Space Harrier arcade system looks like.
That does look like a Welcome to the Fantasy Zone.
All right, so another spin?
Yeah, let's give it another spin. I've already given it another spin. Off the Deep End claims old Deep Listens games and ranks them.
All right.
Oh, shit. All right, find the document, Jeff. This was the one that I think you were going to say we definitely wanted to do. So I'll explain this. So what Off the Deep End is going to do is Jeff has found a curated list of every single thing that Deep Listens, even pre-M, correct, Jeff?
Yep.
That Deep Listens has discussed and or talked about, so we can't reasonably pick it. So we will be ranking all of these games on our list.
So I only want to do like 2 or 3 of these because I don't want this to like drag. So maybe to make it easy, I'm just going to take the first 2 all the way back in time.
Pick your favorites.
Yeah, so we're going to start... I retract that because one of these I think we might actually spend time with. So we're going to grab this one out of the bucket first. Child of Light.
Oh, man.
Well, how about this?
It's okay.
Yeah. Braden, have you played Child of Light?
I have not.
Okay. Maybe this isn't the best one to do.
The Valkyrie profile combat.
I have played Child of Light to completion, so I don't know if Braden hasn't played it.
All in iambic pentameter, and that's all I know.
Maybe, okay, let's...
Shoot your shot, pick Persona 4.
I'm avoiding that one
Is
specifically.
Persona 4 better or worse than Hybrid Heaven?
I think we can all safely say we've touched Barclay Gaiden.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
actually, yes.
So, Barclay Gaiden. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'll probably defend that game more than it deserves to this day.
I will as well.
It's a problematic fave. I know I'm not dumb, fucking callous or anything. So I think it spends some time punching up. I think it spends some time punching down. I think when it's punching down, or up rather, when it's doing the good things, I like it. When it's doing the bad things, I don't. Like, I don't know. Look, the end of that game where you fight Michael Jordan while Sweet Georgia Brown is being whistled in the background is
The
fucking
use of the
hysterical.
Blue Dragon music also.
Yes, just unedited Blue Dragon combat music. The final boss fight just being like a dinosaur that's not even as big as Charles Barkley is hysterical.
Charles Barkley's head. The part where you fight Bill Cosby as Ghost Dad.
Yes. Again, some of these things
Doesn't age
haven't
well.
aged very well. I be very clear. I know. However, sight unseen, it's kind of fucking funny when a ghost appears and it's just Bill Cosby's head. There's some mechanics in that game that I think are actually like surprisingly well considered for like a free, independently made RPG. Like that sequence where you're the cyber dwarf trying to like find invisible floors with like dust or some shit. I was like surprised at how well that was implemented. It doesn't mean it's like particularly fun, but I imagine it was not easy to do in like Mono or Game Maker, whatever the hell they were using at the time. So, like, I have an affection for that game. However,
I also have an affection for that game in part because it was my I was young when I first came in contact with that, and so for me, it was my first true exposure to a homebrew game. I have an affection for that game for kind of leading me into my interest into the doujinshi and dojin games of yesteryear and even today. And also, yeah, I'll back up, Jeff. I think that mechanically, even the way that all of the characters play differently, I cannot imagine that was an easy thing to do in Game Maker. I cannot imagine that was something that was easy to do even in RPG Maker, whatever they used.
Also, the Mac version ran exceptionally well. I had a Mac at the time, like a real shitty Mac Mini, and it ran without issue. So, hey, props to them. Braden, do you have any particular thoughts on Barclay Gaiden? I know you're big on basketball, so I guess I'll let you talk about that part.
So this is one of those games that, like, I very much knew about from the periphery and only touched briefly later. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. It's an RPG Maker thing, and it's basketball jokes and stolen sprites up the wazoo. And it is a product of a time that has passed by. It is cute, and there's that part where Wilford Brimley, they use the power of his diabetes.
He heals the diabetes.
It's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Again,
Of an age.
maybe wasn't ever funny to begin with, some of these things, when you really sit and think about...
They
again.
were funny when the people making them were 15.
Yes.
When they made those, like, Barclay Gaiden reads like something a bunch of white dudes who were like 17 made in the late aughts.
Yeah.
Which it was.
Yeah. I don't even think it's particularly like edgelord per se, or like deliberately provocatively offensive.
It's not Super Columbine Massacre RPG.
Right.
No.
Which is another game we will never play.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
But I think that those creators are like, yeah, we made this game for ourselves and we posted it online and it became something bigger than what we could have ever anticipated. And, you know, their frame of reference was South Park and Family Guy. And they put that game up for free.
Yeah. Then they failed to make a sequel.
They failed to make a sequel because they didn't know what they were getting into when they tried to actually make a video game.
Well, enough of that. Where do we want to put it on this list?
Let's start in the middle.
Oh, you want me to say it?
Yes.
Is this game better than Might and Magic 6? The middle. Is this game better than Hybrid Heaven?
No.
Yeah, I mean, 2/3 majority, but yeah, I agree. Em, what do you think? Is it better than Hybrid Heaven?
Probably not. Hybrid Heaven is really
funny.
something.
Okay.
Wait,
you
have
gotta,
played
you
Hybrid
gotta
Heaven?
see it. I
watched
watched
us
it.
play it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was in the streams for that.
I'm for big steps then. So where do we, relative to Lord of the Rings: The Third Age console edition?
Better.
I would say it's better.
It's better.
Okay.
Please better.
Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
Better.
Better.
I don't know if,
Maybe. Maybe not.
I don't know, guys.
You know what?
Zelda 2 is okay.
I'm gonna say Barkley Shut Up and Jam is a better game than Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, but a worse game than Zelda 2.
That's, I think, where I land with that.
Yeah, I'm going to go there as well.
All right. Well,
That's a statement.
Barkley Gaiden, it goes between Zelda 2 and more like the Turd Age. Oh, shit.
Are there,
God.
are there any other games on this list you think we should...
Like one more,
evaluate?
or we could just leave this terrible idea?
Yeah, like, let's say one more.
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Do a rapid fire.
Something that we've all definitely touched, too, is kind of what
I have played Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
I have not.
It's not good.
I'm sure it's not.
Jeff, have you played Jade Empire?
I've played quite a bit
Oh,
of Jade
shit.
Empire. Yeah.
Let's rank Jade Empire.
Okay.
To be clear, Jade Empire might be mechanically, like, fine if, like, kind of good, but it could, like, be literally Mass Effect 2 levels of mechanically good, but I think the writing in that game is just all ass and comes from a place of, like, maybe not deliberate malice, but it comes off as malice.
As
It's-
a bunch
it's
of white
like-
dudes
like I
from
said, it
Edmonton
is-
trying to make a Wuxia RPG.
And all of the voice actors in this Asian setting are white people, except for
James
one.
Hong.
It's, didn't age super good.
And then also, I actually will push back on what Jeff said. I think mechanically, Jade Empire is busted and
Jade Empire is
unfun.
barely functional as a video game.
I think that when you try to approach it, even its gem-based system, the fact that you only have one playable companion by your side, and that
They're
forces you
useless
to
in
not
combat.
use
Yeah.
some of them at all, I think it's actively bad. I think it's an actively bad playing video game.
I just remember that guy saying Spirit Thief over and over and over and over again, hundreds of times. Like,
Yeah, paralyzing Palm, breaking the video games. Like,
Yeah, just
I say we
use
start at the
Storm
bottom.
Dragon. It's
Start
broken.
at the bottom.
Okay, how do we feel relative to Hybrid? Okay, the joke's worn out. Are we talking like Revengers of Vengeance Draken territory, or are we talking like the basement?
No, it's like, even admittedly, it's better than Revengers of Vengeance.
So that would put us at
I would rather play Quest 64 again than ever touch Jade Empire again.
Yeah, that's the other thing is there's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
that's
how
a good
hard
point.
I'm
I mean, I could see playing Quest 64 again just because it doesn't offend
Yeah.
me, it doesn't hurt
It's
me.
surprisingly
And like Jeff said, there's no malice.
fine. Yeah, no one's hurt by Quest 64, like AVGN aside, right? Like it's fine. Yeah, Jade Empire is also just too long, and yeah, so below Quest 64.
It has like one fully realized level out of 4 or 5.
Okay, Braden, do you hate this more than Third Age on the GBA?
No.
No.
Okay, so
Once again, the line of trash starts at Third Age on GBA.
okay, so does this go above or below Arabian Nights then? I'm kind of in favor of
What's above Arabian
Quest
Nights?
64.
Quest 64.
Okay, then we put it above Arabian Nights, but not below Quest 64.
Yeah.
All right, Jade Empire.
What were you thinking, Jeff? Were you thinking putting it below Arabian Nights?
I mean, I think it would be very funny if we just ranked every single BioWare game and put them all low.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is, like, Mass Effect 2 is actually good.
Yeah.
I would put it below. I think I'd put it below Arabian Nights. I think I do. Like, because I don't remember Arabian Nights, but I remember Jade Empire, and it makes me sad. Arabian Nights didn't bother me.
I hated Jade Empire when I played it literally a decade
Yeah.
ago. And I still feel that whenever I think about it.
All right, I can go either way.
I will accept it being below Arabian Nights because, once again, I think it would be funny to rank a lot of BioWare games low.
Okay. Well then, congratulations to the two new entries onto the Off the Deep End's rankings list of Barkley Gaiden, which is between Zelda 2 and The Lord of the Rings: The Third Age console edition.
Wasn't there another game you wanted to rank before we said Jade Empire, Jeff?
Now let's just stick with these two. This segment's gone on too long already. And that Jade Empire
That's
is
right.
going between Arabian Nights and Lord of the Rings: The Third Age GBA edition. The podcast, the podcast that has spoken the most about the Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, more than any other podcast on the internet. It is a gift that keeps on giving. I know we never finished that game, but we practically have at this point.
Honorary Lord of the Rings.
All the good
Age
news is the back
finishers.
half of that game is identical to the front half. So
If you've played the first 5 hours, you've played all 20.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen The Lord of the Rings, you've seen a lot of that game too, because a lot of that game is just those films.
hey, remember that scene from the movie? What if you were standing off to the side?
Except not the interesting parts.
While Ian McKellen's just like, yes.
I was stuck in a voice booth because of contract.
All right. Okay. I'm going to do a fiat here. I think we have to do this topic
Go for it.
Okay.
because we've talked about it so much. We have to actually canonize it. Pitch a No Yume sequel. As you know,
Okay.
we've played Eternal Sonata, Chopin no Yume. We are now going to pick our choices for sequels of that series, which only had one entry. My pick is they're going to do like a Pokemon thing where they have two versions.
Okay.
It's going to be Biggie no Yume versus Tupac no Yume.
Damn it.
I had
was
to
gonna
get
be
that
my
in.
joke was
I had to-
Sakura no Yume.
Yep. I knew it was going to be coming up, so I had to nail that before anyone else talked. All right, gentlemen, you have your choice of
All right.
dead musical artist to go with.
So I've got a different pick, but I do want to commend Zito in our Discord saying Scatman no Yume, just because John Scatman
Yes.
lived what I think is a truly inspirational life, and it ends almost on the same beat as the end of Eternal Sonata. But I thought to myself, who are the musicians that I think would most conflict with the sensitive anime-ass world of Eternal Sonata? So I thought, full on, let's go with minimalism. So Philip Glass no Yume, and he fights everything with ostinatos.
Okay.
All right, okay. Good choice.
And then maybe if you want like just high concept thinking, like pull straight up his ass and like creative person, maybe Jean-Michel Jarre, the creator of the Oxygen
I don't even know what that is.
songs. If you've never seen the Oxygen videos, music videos that man made, oh my god, I might actually link this to you all. Jean-Michel Jarre would just be this like French art house guy going like, no, you are wrong. We must frame it correctly. There must be a deeper meaning to your music. Actually, I'm gonna put this in chat just for you all to see. But yeah, no, I think Philip Glass would be funny.
would.
I'm gonna say maybe Wagner no Yume. Just get that Nibelung ring.
Classic.
And as I said during the Eternal Sonata podcast, Cobain no Yume.
Yep.
Just that's my edgelord pick.
I will out edgelord you here. The normal one I thought up with that is maybe more not horrible would be like Randy Rhoads no Yume. And it's just about his like later in his life, like touring with Ozzy Osbourne and being like not just fucked up on coke all the time, and then just the really bizarre circumstances of Randy Rhoads' death. If you guys don't know,
Died in
Are
a
you
plane crash?
well, it was a really weird plane crash, right? Because he was piloting a small plane and somehow lost control, basically. That plane wound up hitting the tour bus that had Ozzy Osbourne in it. Again, not out of malice. This was apparently kind of a bad accident.
Coincidence.
And I think someone's relative was also like Randy Rhoads died and someone else died, and then the tour bus was destroyed as well. It was just a really bad scene. But anyway, Randy Rhoads seemed to have been like a genuinely really nice dude. But, he was also the guy that did the solo on Mr. Crowley and all the guitar work on Diary of a Madman, a good album. So, and I think he was in Quiet Riot too, like early in their career. So anyway, you get like a bunch of like shitty butt metal and then good Ozzy stuff. A much darker, more edgelord pick would be like Mayhem no Yume.
Okay.
Just like the whole
Jesus.
band, basically. That gets into some actually...
Okay, so Lou Reed no Yume.
Oh, shit!
Lou Reed.
Yeah, please don't make me talk about the members of Mayhem, one of whom is a very bad person.
One of the comments in the chat is saying Jim Morrison no Yume.
Lou Reed no Yume.
And obviously, with the new Baz Luhrmann film, I feel like Elvis no Yume is a pretty clear one.
That's already been made.
The man just sitting on his toilet dying. It's like, oh...
Oh, no.
Jeff, are you going to just sit there and allow someone to insult your home state treasured Elvis as a Hawaiian person?
Oh, yeah. No, they claim him. Yeah, big time. Elvis, very... Okay, Israel Kamakakiva Vo'ole no Yume. There you go. The story of the man who did the Over the Rainbow song that is in your high school graduation tape.
Such a nice guy.
He was.
I don't want to see him die.
A joke I heard in Hawaii, people would call him Brother Is, and then some people as a gag would call him Brother Was, because he was dead.
No.
That sounds like jokes someone would make.
That's a little inside baseball Hawaii humor for you there.
Oh, boy.
Ah, shucks.
Terrible.
Hey, again, not a joke I came up with.
We'll allow it then.
It's an emic term, not an etic term. Yeah.
So Lou Reed.
Lou Reed would be very funny. He's already in a video game, though, so...
Is he?
The Penn and Teller
Yes, he
video
is.
game for Genesis. He murders Penn and Teller if you bug him.
He's
fuck?
okay. Yeah, there's a platformer and there's a difficulty you can select that's just called impossible. And the joke is Lou Reed just kills you with a gun in this platformer because impossible means it's like literally impossible to win because you just get killed. Like that's.
Apparently, this game was never released.
Yes, but it's also the game that has Desert Bus in it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
one of the
right.
most unreleased games ever, basically.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, Lou Reed, already part of video game canon, so I think he's disqualified, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think so. I mean, Chopin could have been in video games. And they could still make...
Okay, is it like fun Lou Reed? Is he just playing Sister Ray for 35 minutes, or is he doing Lulu numbers with Metallica?
Is he talking to you about why he supports the Conservative Party of the UK?
Yeah. Is he talking about how Bob Dylan is another loathsome Jew, or some of the other...
Yikes.
Oh,
yeah.
dear.
He really said some stuff. Worth noting, I think he was ethnically Jewish as well. It's complicated, but anyway, yeah. Lou Reed wrote some good songs. Maybe not a cool dude. You could say that about most musicians. Or humans. Anyway. We like to have fun
Spin
here.
the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Jeff and ZP talk about sumo.
You know what?
You have used some of your time.
We can do this quick and then maybe
Brief.
spin again.
Yeah.
Okay, tournament just ended. Lower divisions were largely to chalk. Upper division, surprise, I wouldn't say upset, but Ichino Joe wins his first tournament ever after being in the first division for a very long time. The real story of this whole tournament was about midway through, entire gym groups, basically teams, they're called Heias, just started pulling out because if one individual was infected with COVID, they would just basically withdraw the entire gym. So by the day 15 of this 15-day tournament, something like at least a third of the people involved in the actual sumo bouts were gone.
We were down to, on the last day, anywhere between, I think, 26 to 30 of people in the Makuuchi division were there on the final day. And it's like, what, 50 people?
40 some odd, so yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
So it was weird. There's a
great.
lot of matches where they would just come up and they wave this kind of white banner that just says, like, not competing, a shitty translation.
I think day 13 was the most Fusen victories I've ever seen in my entire life in a single
It was
tournament.
apparently a record. They said there were 7 of them in that one day, which there were, like, years in the past where there would be that many. So it was weird.
I think that the takeaways, though, is Jurio, I'm happy to see Ryuden get his promotion. I think that he should be fun in Makuuchi. Yeah. My only worry is that his first run in Makuuchi was pretty ho-hum, and so I worry if the JSA is just latching on to another redemption story arc, which they very desperately want Asanoyama to be their next big storyline for sumo, even though he doesn't deserve it.
Sure, that's what's kind of blowing my mind. It's just like, wait, didn't he, like, make you all look like shit, like, a year ago? Am I missing something here? Like,
So for those that don't know, Asanoyama very clearly violated COVID protocols. He went out partying. He then paid someone from one of the sports press to cover up for him while he was out drinking and partying and being with women in hostess bars.
I think this is actually what we talked about with Voidberger when she was on the show, because it was such a big...
No, she was talking about Abe,
yeah.
which
Abe
is a different scumbag that also the JSA is very protective of.
It's also incidentally pretty good at sumo, is the confounding factor. However, not a good person. But yeah.
Yeah, Abe is the reason why sumo wrestlers aren't allowed to have Twitter accounts.
Right, that was it.
So, yeah, the Asanoyama thing's kind of blowing my mind and making me feel like a crazy person.
The JSA has always had favorites. They've always played favorites. I continue to say this, but there are three constants in life. Death, taxes, and Hoshishoryu always getting robbed of his rematches. And then also Shodai just coasting because they continue to give him really easy matches once he goes down 0-3 or 0-4 at the start of a Basho.
I will say, this is the best he's looked, though, like in a long time.
Yeah, and also Takakeisho looked really good. I think that he could definitely not necessarily become Yokozuna, but I think Takakeisho has the makings to hold the Governor's Cup at least one time next year.
He's got to win a tournament. Also, it was at the end of last year, someone just asked Terunofuji what his goals were this year, and his goal was to basically win his 10th tournament to get into the double-digit Yokozuna range, which is rare, would put him in, like, very rarefied space. With this loss, that is officially a dead dream. We've had 4 tournaments, and we have 4 different tournament winners in the first division. Early predictions of this being just, like, Terunofuji eating everyone alive for basically 12 months have not really come to fruition.
I think his win last Basho was very impressive, though.
Yeah.
I think he pulled it off in a way that's good. I think that what the JSA and sumo fans in general have come to terms with is the fact that he's not going to be Hakuho longevity. You knew that from the start. I think the best storyline with Terunofuji's already been written, which is his career resurrection after he got demoted when he had his knee troubles the first time. But it was always a dice roll in terms of would Terunofuji be a Yokozuna for 3, 4, or 5 years tops. Yeah. You know, he'll probably get another Governor's Cup on his side. He'll probably pull another Yusho. But whether or not, I think next year we'll figure out in terms of more of the shelf life for Terunofuji.
Yeah, those wheels are not getting any better. Worth noting, I think one of the reasons Asanoyama and, to an effect, Shodai get as much protection. I will note these are all gentlemen who were born in Japan, as opposed to Terunofuji, Ichino-jo, a lot of the people that are in, like, the higher ranks of the top division who are not Japanese.
Well, it's going to be interesting because technically we've got multiple members of Maegashira that got winning records, but they're not likely to get promoted. Ichinojo, we might see it to where we have 3 Komosubis just because he won the Basho. You got to give him some sort of promotion where he's already ranked, Maegashira 1? But all of the Komosubis already have winning records, so, I guess we'll have 3, but normally you don't do that. You just got a lot of people who are coasting in those upper division ranks, and, the Ozeki position is already protected.
Yeah, it was a overall watchable sumo when it was happening.
And for anyone who doesn't know sumo,
now you do.
Now you know some. Congratulations. You can recite some of that to your friends.
Sumo money, sumo problem.
Hell yeah!
They should use that as a tagline.
They'd have to do English outreach first, which they don't. So.
I see.
The English commentary has been okay. It's just they continue to only have one person on commentary. I kind of miss the days of when we had the color guy and normal commentary. But Murray's good.
All right.
Unomaf?
I think we can spin the wheel one more time, but it could be something that is too long for ending the show
fuck
on.
it. Who's judging?
That's true. All right, spin it one more time. Let's see what we get. Oh, okay. This is some current events. Do we want to talk about the Xenoblade spoilers?
I have no idea what this is.
There's an image out there, let's just say. We will see if it is true.
Xenoblade 3 comes out the day after this podcast will drop on podcast feeds. I'll say this image came to my attention because the game has leaked. And so, stay vigilant, stay aware of spoilers. I will say that looking at this image made me way more interested in Xenoblade 3 from a car crash perspective.
Okay, I'm officially curious. I'm
going to send this to you, Jeff.
Okay.
I need you to be aware that it is a spoiler. You're okay with me sending this to you? Okay, so real time, we're going to get Jeff's reaction to this. Okay. Now, at first, you're going to see this image on your Discord, and you're going to be like, what? You have to click the image. Click the image.
Okay. Huh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I mean, like I think the prominent thing that people are going to be interested in this image is actually the least interesting part to me, because it's kind of chaos. But I can see how to put this. I can see why Braden would be more interested in this game.
What the fuck does that mean?
That's
Are you
a call out.
insulting Braden
Jeff?
live on podcast?
I don't know. It's so hard to say this without ruining what's
No,
in.
you can't say it, because saying it also is a spoiler.
Maybe
I know what you're
roll
saying,
again.
and
Fuck
you
it.
insult me, sir.
Look, Mr. Seisen no Keifu. Anyway.
I don't think we can talk about the spoilers because they're too spoilery to actually discuss on the episode.
Okay.
This
Spin it
doesn't seem that
again.
remarkable. I guess that's what
You don't think so?
No, I'm not.
I think it's amazing that Nintendo and Monolith Soft have gone full dumpster.
I see.
Oh!
Oh?
Wait.
Did you not see
Okay,
it?
no, I mean, I saw it. I didn't piece together, the math going on here. Okay. Yes, okay.
Well, also the math might be strange because it seems as though there's some.
One of them's not human.
Yeah,
By
one
the
of
way.
them is a.
Yeah. I mean, I figured that's where they've gone with this story, so I wasn't going to ask, but I kind of knew. So that's, like I said in the last episode we recorded, I like all kinds of games for all kinds of people, you know?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in stores July 29th.
I'm sure someone will really like that.
And also on dark parts of the internet if you're a filthy pirate right now.
One more spin. One more spin.
All right. Can't get enough of the spinning. Last spin for the episode. We're going to make it a good one. Video game champagne.
I forget what this was.
This was a drill tweet.
This is based on a drill tweet. Let me find it. Prolific poster on the internet. Drill. Greetings, me and YouSheGod9 were just discussing which releases we consider to be, quote, the champagne of gaming. Would you care to join us? And then I pitched the question, what do you think is the champagne of gaming? And Ricky in the Discord says, in what sense of the word, that it's considered fancy, but actually sucks. What game seems fancy, but fucking sucks? Is my pitch to you.
Said on the Discord, and I will say it on the radio right here for our listenership. Remember, controversy drives clicks. Please send all emails to inquiries@deep.lol and at that Pinguino on Twitter. I think the answer is The Last of Us.
Part 1 or 2?
Well, I think specifically this new remake of The Last of Us 1
Damn.
is the champagne of video games. Boy,
they
it
made
looks
it real
expensive,
fancy,
but it sure is the same game from 9 years ago that already had a remaster.
that already looked pretty good. Yep, I'll give that to you. Anything you can think of?
Well, we already kind of took the piss out of modern Ubisoft video games, and
True.
With the company
Modern
basically
Ubisoft
on
video
fire.
games are the fast casual of video games.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Tom Clancy's X-Defiant is the Olive Garden of video games.
Trying to think. Jeff, do you have a pick?
I really thought Dragon Age Origins was terrible.
Okay.
Oh,
That's fair
Okay.
enough.
Yep.
Every individual part of that game was driving me nuts.
Playing that game again in my very first appearance on this podcast hurt my soul.
That was, I broke the usual strategy we go with at starting on the second one, and I should have just gone with my gut and picked Dragon Age 2. I would
What
agree
is
with that.
what is the origin of M really likes Dragon Age 2? I've been meaning to ask this.
I think it was my first BioWare game.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably why I liked it so much. But also I just think, as far as Dragon Ages go, it's probably the best one.
I can accept that argument.
Yeah?
Someone in the chat saying Arc System Works fighting games. I
can't go that far.
In terms of them, a lot of Arc Sys games being very, loud and glamorous, I guess, or, maximal. That's very Champagne-esque to me. I'm fucking terrible at anime fighters.
I mean, if you want a classic pick, I've said this during the Zelda 2 podcast, I've never understood why people like Kid Icarus as a character and even as a franchise. Because
That
that
one
first
might
game is
stick,
just
Chris.
malice, and that second game will give you RSI if you don't play it with the weird contraption that you're supposed to bolt onto your DS.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Kid Icarus Uprising came with like a docket so as that you would have analog movement because people apparently gave themselves RSI trying to use the stylus controlling it. And so it had to come with like a dock that you bolted onto your DS so as that you didn't fuck up your hands. And it's just the worst goddamn control scheme I've ever seen come out for a modern video game ever.
Oh, what the fuck is this?
It's
Yeah,
pretty
right?
dumb.
Okay, yeah, that's something.
I thought Infamous was actually of games I played last year that I was like, I want to push the limits of this PS3. That first Infamous game also seems pretty bad, and I actually don't know if it was like maybe this just didn't age well. I don't know if that game was ever actually good. Like it just seemed like a poor product. Like it seems like if people were holding that one up at the time and in like retrospect as this game that like look, all these developers have figured out how to make games on the PS3 that are like worth a shit. If that's like, I think that just speaks to how dire the PS3 actually was in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Yep.
It got there eventually.
You know what? I know of a perfect champagne video game because people would not shut the F up about this game, Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
People really liked the whole customization and the creativity of those games, but I thought that franchise controlled like shit.
I will not besmirch that because I think that stuff is very impressive, and I think
it is impressive that what people were able to
Dreams
do
is very impressive.
But the floaty jump where you're just in the air and you have like you're wiggling around, it feels like dog shit. Just absolutely just poor functionality. Like unlimited potential for customization, sure, but it's just this two-dimensional puzzle game. It's super frustrating to control, and it's treacherous in nature, almost antithetical to its like relaxing, calming setting and concept.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Do you have one, Em? I feel like you have not chimed in with one.
I do have one. I'm thinking about another one. This one might be controversial as well because
spicy.
I do like this game.
Remember
what
to
it is.
Send all your complaints to @thatpinguino on Twitter.
Yeah. Gina will take these complaints directly. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Even though that game has had a recent meme resurgence in the last year.
I think that it looks real nice. It has the like slash a lot mechanic, which people really like. I think its controls are too weird.
I think Metal Gear Rising, for a game that was clearly like shoved together in a year by Platinum out of whatever broken prototype had already existed, I think in that context that game's pretty good. The last boss fight is iconic for a reason, but on like a basic mechanical level, it ain't no Bayonetta.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wants to be.
It's just right stick sword stuff. Like that's
Well, it's square triangle.
Oh,
and then you do the parrying.
Yeah, it wants to do like a lot of stuff with the triggers, like the
Yes, the Zandatsu mode.
It's a lot.
It's a little cumbersome.
There's a reason Raiden only had a sword for about 15 minutes of Metal Gear Solid 2. Right? A great game.
Yep.
Yeah.
One day maybe we'll go back to that, but we
Platinum
don't do
is
that.
one of those developers who, like, if you asked me if I was a fan of Platinum, I would say yes, and then the number of Platinum games I can recommend without caveats is, like, Bayonetta 2.
Very low.
I know Tor High
that
Heels.
Transformers game, not bad.
Tor High Heels seemed to like that Astral Chain game.
Tor High Heels like Sonic 06.
I know. Which I bought, by the way.
We're gonna do that sometime, right?
Okay. Sure. Fuck me up.
$5, man.
I'll defend Vanquish.
No, Vanquish is another game I would recommend without caveats.
Yeah,
Vanquish
I would defend Vanquish. Slide a lot. But even
Legend of
Vanquish
Korra
has
is bad.
Level that's just kind of bullshit.
They made Babylon's Fall this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should play Babylon's Fall.
No, we shouldn't.
We should.
No. No, we shouldn't.
We've talked.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna pull back the curtain briefly. We have talked a little bit about executive authority. I can say this. We've talked a little bit about playing Anthem. Man. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm not excited about playing Anthem, But if they announce that game's getting shut off, which I'm not convinced they won't, and I'm not convinced they won't do it pretty soon either, that will be the next game we play.
Yes.
I'm surprised they haven't already, honestly.
I'm shocked.
Emergency button. All three of us play Anthem if they announce any sort of closure for that game's servers.
Like, what a fucking mess that thing is. Oh my god. Can't believe it.
You heard it here first.
You can buy a copy of Anthem for 99 cents at GameStop.
I have added both games we have ranked to the OTDE list, that is at bit.ly/OTDE rank, and I think I did a very funny thing, and I want people to look at it and tell me it's funny.
Going to look at it.
Let's see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I appreciate
it's the
that
full legal name of the game.
The full legal title of the game, yeah.
Tales of Games Studios presents Chef Boyardee's Barkley, Shut Up and Jam, Gaiden, Chapter 1 of the Hoops Barkley Saga.
Of saga games we've played, it's the better one.
The highest ranking one. Yeah. Alright, on that note, I think we've done enough. I think we've successfully had another variety show.
We have content.
Yeah, the content machine churns onward. As I promised at the beginning, I was going to read off some of the other topics that we had, but first I'm going to thank the Off the Deep End crew, starting with Chris, ZombiePie Redacted.
How many mucous membranes does the average human body have?
At least 4. Thank you, Jeff Rude.
Still haven't been kicked out of the Discord for writing I can eat a hydrusimon for hours.
I'm really thinking about it. It's pushing it. Thank you, Braden, ArbitraryWater Redacted.
I woke up at 11 today.
Hell yeah!
I woke up at 3. You're not special.
Living the dream.
And thank you, listeners. Here are some of the other topics we could have covered. Video game Little Brothers, an investigation. The drill to pierce the heavens, your favorite drill tweets. How is the year of torture going so far? Speculate why we're big in South Africa. Hello, South African listeners. ZP and AW talk about Warhammer. Jeff tells an anecdote about the Man Show. Jeff tells an anecdote about Master and Commander. Jeff tells an anecdote about his mortgage. Jeff tells an anecdote about various things.
Have I ever talked about the time I got stabbed on a campout?
What?
ArbitraryWater tells an anecdote about getting stabbed on a campout. Thank you, listeners. Until next time, peace.